Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra, 150 meters water resistant and 41.5 millimeters in stainless steel. This model contains a sensational combination of master coaxial chronometer movement with 60-hour power reserve, transferred blue wave dial, and outstanding yellow gold dial accents. This is a simply stunning timepiece that takes it to the Rolex Datejust 41. Now on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see it's easy to wear. 41.5 millimeters in diameter, not including the crown. The watch is reasonably slim at 13.2 millimeters, and you can see it does have a somewhat sloped conical bezel that lets it slip underneath a dress cuff. The watch isn't too broad. From lug to lug it measures 48.5 millimeters, and even with the solid end links of the bracelet, it's still a very wearable 50.4 millimeters, and I recommend it for wrists as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. The spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters if you wish to accessorize with a strap option, but I do recommend you at least consider the factory bracelet as your first choice. It's handsomely made, solid, inspires confidence, and nicely complements the design of the case. So we'll get a little bit closer here, and you can see that the bracelet is fairly simple. It's a 3-link steel design that manages to be original. That is to say, it doesn't ape any of the characteristics of the segment-dominant 3-link Rolex Oyster. The intermediate links are both staggered and polished, and the outer faces are polished. All removable links are fixed by screws. You'll also appreciate that the shoulder links are satin finished for contrast, and if we jump around to the clasp, you can see it's a double deployant twin trigger, so you do have to depress both triggers to pop this one open, and it does close sequentially, so one side after the other. Omega engraved logo on the outside, twin trigger release. This one is staying robustly closed until you decide it will open. No corners cut with materials or spec right here, and you can see that there are half links included in the bracelet for proper sizing. The case is familiar. This is the pre-2017 Aqua Terra, but it's basically the same form that you still see on today's Aqua Terra, with the satin finished sheer flanks and the polished bevels that flare at the case end. Where this really differs from the post-2017 model is that this has just a little bit more of a countersink to the crown, which has a gorgeous polished and relieved logo with a blasted base. But my point is that the older watch features more protection against shearing and damage to the crown because it is more deeply nestled into the case flank. And that's not a bad thing on a 150 meter water resistant automatic winding fully loomed sports watch. This has always been the surf and turf Seamaster, but just because it's equally appropriate for the ballroom floor doesn't mean it can't get rough. And the Aqua Terra is every inch a Seamaster, I should say every millimeter, nowhere more so than on the dial. You can see that this watch sports the occasional Omega Seamaster wave motif. We've seen it across a number of ranges. It's most commonly associated with the Diver 300s, but this particular wave is distinct from any Diver 300. First, it's described as a transferred iridescent blue by Omega, and it is certainly that. It has a remarkably reactive quality in the light, more exciting than a sunburst and more distinctive. It also has a number of beautiful metallic blues mixed in. There are some angles where you can barely see it, and there are some angles where it explodes with an almost three-dimensional holographic effect I enjoy. Now, the dial details are nicely fleshed out by a somewhat differentially finished blue metallic minutes and seconds track outboard, an all applique fully loomed yellow gold hour indices and yellow gold Omega logo and marquee at 12 o'clock, yellow gold hands at center with a little bit of a vintage inspired broad arrow minute. The watch does feature a trapezoidal and minimally obtrusive date window that replaces the index at 3 o'clock. Of course, this being a caliber 8500 family member, it does have the ability to move the hour hand, and as you can see, step the date in either direction as you cross the international date line. It is an excellent travel sports watch for that reason. Pull the crown out all the way, you do hack the balance, stop the second. Now you can set the watch precisely against a reference time, flip it all over, and you can enjoy the display case back. Now, the case back lets you get a load of the Omega caliber 8500. It is a coaxial chronometer, so it incorporates both the George Daniels tri-level tangential contact coaxial escapement system, rather exotic and quite precise. I've timed these at about 0.3 to 0.5 seconds a day in 6 positions. The movement is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, all of this water resistant down to 150 meters and effectively amagnetic with an SI14 Omega silicon hairspring. A full balance bridge with a free sprung index for shock resistance. You saw the time zone function, you saw the stop seconds. It beats away at 25,200 vibrations per hour, a coaxial specific beat rate, and you'll note that there are twin mainspring barrels for very even torque release from maximum wind to minimum wind. So isochronous isochronism at all levels of power reserve, excellent. The twin barrels endow the watch with a 60-hour power reserve, and it is a handsomely decorated movement with a spiral-style arabesque Côte de Genève and blackened rather than blue oxidized or polished screws. It's just a beautiful looking watch on both sides, but it's the dial that truly steals my heart, an imaginative combination of silver, blue, and yellow gold. You can see this one and make it yours on the watch box. Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra.